is tabletopbattle.com with Svein. Hey, you're doing it. And Damon. We're going to be doing something today that we should have done before we started shooting our World War II series. We're going to be making a video with what you need to play bolt action. We will explain the different type of units, and we will play one round of bolt action and explain in detail what we're doing for all you people who haven't tried it before or want to try it or are curious about some of the smaller rules. So Svein, if you can show the people the table. Here we have a representation from some of the nations that is featured in Warlord's bolt action game, 28mm miniature game.
Yeah, these are mostly
Warlord.
Yeah, mostly Warlord, and then most of the nations represented. Some nations are not here because I don't play them, and that's Hungary and Romania and minor nations like that.
Though don't discard them, as we've shown you in the World War II series, the smaller nations can still kick German ass.
They can.
Pardon my language.
Definitely the Finnish.
The Finnish and the...
but they don't kick German ass, they kick...
The Polish. They kick Russian ass.
Yes, and the Polish also kick Russian ass and German ass.
They ground them to a halt. What you see here is the core rulebook. In here you will find explanation of the rules that you need to play the game. There are of course erratas on Warlord's homepage that you might need to take into consideration. You will find a small sample of the armies, and you are able to construct a playable army from this book, though it will be limited.
Yeah, and it's only the four biggest
nations, which will be Japan,
No, it's England,
Great
Britain,
Russia,
Germany, and the United States,
yeah, there we
which you love to play.
Yes, it's the only thing I play unless you force me to play something else.
I force you.
This is order dice. These puppies are what you need to, well, you need them to play the game just as much as you need a rulebook. They come with different orders on them. We have fire order, run, ambush, down, rally, there's one more,
Advance.
and advance. What you do with these is you put them in a dice bag and you pull them up randomly, without looking at them, and the person whose color is pre-decided is drawn. That is the player's turn to activate. So if all these dice were in the bag and we say these are Svein's and these are mine, if we draw a green one, it's Svein's turn to move the unit of his choice. The number of order dice decided is counted with how many units you actually have on the table. So if you have a headquarters and 4 troops, or 4 infantry and a vehicle, you would have a total of 6 order die. And you keep pulling out of the bag until it's empty. These things, dear boy, I guess most of you have seen this before. These are dice. You roll them, a number comes up, that's the result you get. Sometimes you roll 2. In Svein's, in Svein's and my case, we roll 6s. If you enters, you foobar, and you roll double 1, or actually double 6 when you don't want to. This is a measuring meter. You also need this to play bolt action, because you can walk this far, or you can run this far, or you can end up driving
very far on a road.
So this is the basics of what you need to play bolt action. Lastly, of this introduction, if you look over here, you have the army books of some of the nations, or the nation that Svein has accumulated in his
and these are
man cave.
And these are all the nations that are available, because if you look at this book and that book, you will find all the minor nations.
Yeah. So we're looking at United States, Germany, Great Britain, Soviet Union, armies of Imperial Japan, France and the Allies, which includes Poland,
Norway,
well, everything that wasn't Nazis or Italians.
Yeah.
And which you will find here, Italy and the Axis powers, except for Germany, of course. And over here you have 3 expansions. Tank War, which basically lets you use more tanks in a game. With infantry, of course, and it adds special characters to some of these tanks. Famous tank commanders. Ostfront, Germans assault. Oh wait, yes, Germans assault on Russia, and the battles between Russia and Finland and Imperial Japan. And lastly, Battleground Europe, D-Day, and then we rode into Germany.
Yeah, and then also a new expansion on the way in the post as we speak.
Ooh.
That takes, of course, care of 1939 and further. Interesting to know about Ostfront, like Damon said. This also includes, like he said, Japan versus Russia and the Chalkin Gol incident, which is quite famous.
And this sums up the what do you need to play bolt action, and the army books available. And we will be right back with an explanation of the different types of units. You have headquarters, you have infantry, you have support, you have vehicles, etc., etc.
And planes you can use.
Planes. We'll be right back with information on that.
Yeah, should we take a just quick walkthrough about the nations here we are seeing here?
USA.
First up is the United States.
Most famous tank of the war, I would pretty much say. That's because I play American. It's a Sherman.
And then you have the French,
which
can kick ass with their Char 1 bis.
Yeah, and the Char 2 bis is a monster. Yeah, I'm assembling for you now.
Char 2 is very, very big.
Yep.
Then you have Poland, which is a fun nation to play because they have a tank like this, but with the dual machine guns called 8-shots.
8-shots, made famous by me.
Then we have Italy. We have the Soviet Union. We have Germany, of course. We have Britain. We have Finland. And we have Japan. And these are the nations that you will see in our video battle reports.
Just to tell the people, in addition to that, you have Hungary,
Romania, and there are a few others.
Yeah, you'll find them in the Italy and the Axis and France and Allies book.
Yeah.
We might get into that in one point after we've done our World War II series.
The timeline of World War II.
The timeline of World War II, so that we can show you the minor nations that's in the books.
Good one, Damon.
Yes. And so that's it for that, and let's get back to explanation of units.
Yes.
And welcome back to part 2 of Tabletop Battles Introduction to Bolt Action. Part 1, we showed you what you need to play the game, and what you need to have if you want to expand your game.
That is not Damon.
Yes, it is Damon.
You don't need Damon to expand your game.
Oh, for God's... It's a book! You're supposed to film the book, you moron.
I'm filming the book.
Film the book. Jeez, you see what I gotta work with? Where were we? This is one book that you can expand with. We're now gonna go through the reinforced platoon to tell you what the different entries are that you need to have, and what you can have in addition if you wish. One thing that you need to know is that even though this American or US book and their reinforced platoon features the list that you see here, this optional list is not necessarily the same in each book. However, these two are the same in all books. You need 1 lieutenant, first or second, and 2 infantry squads. And we will now show you what all of these different entries are, so that there's no question about what's what. And this young man is General Patton. In this case, he will proxy as our first or second lieutenant, which is one of the choices you have to have in your reinforced platoon. He's there to provide the moral bonus for your army. After you have chosen this first or second lieutenant. You can also add a captain or a major. In the US Army book, it's a 0 to 1 option, and you add them to further improve the morale value in your army. I think they add 3 and 4 or 4 to additional morale values.
Yes.
In addition to him, as a first or second lieutenant, you need to have these guys, which is an infantry squad. In this case, it's a 5-man infantry squad, consisting of 1 man with a BAR,
This is the BAR?
Yep. 1 NCO with a submachine gun, and 3 rifles. One thing that's important about an infantry squad is that if you look at the US Army book, you have something called inexperienced, regular, and well, it is all of that. It's inexperienced and regular infantry, but it doesn't stop there with the infantry, because if you read further, you will also find engineer squad, paratrooper squad, glider squad, ranger squad, and US Marine squads. These are also infantry, even though they don't have infantry in the unit name. So they are options that you also can take in addition to the 2 infantry squads that you must have. In the US Army, they are a 0 to 3 extra infantry squads, so you can have a total of 5 infantry squads from the US Army book.
Also important to note that in these army books there are also scenario-specific lists that allows you to take, for example, if you play Pacific, you can have, for example, 2 medium machine gun teams as opposed to only 1, as we will get into a bit later. And you can also have these veteran Marine squads, for example, and stuff like that. So the point is, you need your HQ unit, which in this case was Patton, and then you need 2 infantry squads, which can be these regular guys you see over here, or you can have your veterans, or you can have your rangers, or whatever.
Dude, we have invaders.
We have invaders.
There's a tyrannid on your table.
No, it's a ant.
It's an ant.
I think it came in with you.
No.
Yeah, because they live outside.
You're playing the wrong game. This is not a 40k game.
Do they have ants?
They have tyrannids.
And fresh from ant extermination, we are back with the medic. Which is?
The medic is a 0 to 1 option in the US Army Reinforced Platoon.
So it's optional, but you don't need to have it. It's optional.
Exactly. Most of the choices you will find in a Reinforced Platoon are 0 to 1, or the additional options. You have to have 2 infantry squads. And this is a 0.021 option. The reason for this is usually because if you have more of them, you will gain an advantage over other armies. If you want to have more than one, you will have to start a second reinforced platoon.
So that means 2 Pattons.
You have to have 2 first or second lieutenants and 4 infantry squads.
Yeah.
If you do that, you can basically have 2 medics.
Yeah.
At least in the US Army.
Yeah.
This guy is a forward observer. The US Army have the option of artillery or air. Being in the US Army, they have they probably will choose air observer because they have a bonus airstrike.
Yeah, so they can call in 2 airstrikes with the same guy.
Yeah. Moving on, we have the machine gun team. The US Army book is a little special in this matter because you have 2 options. You have the medium machine gun team and you have a heavy machine gun team.
So medium machine gun team has is the same for all nations, but the heavy machine gun is specific for the US.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the 50 cal portable one used by the infantry.
Yep.
This is the 30 cal.
Yep.
Actually, there should be 1 extra guy here.
Can borrow him.
Yeah.
There you go. A 3-man team.
It's a 3-man team. That's important because if they are reduced to 2 guys, they are becoming a small team and makes them harder to hit.
The mortar teams, 0 to 1 option. They come in 3 varieties: light, medium, and heavy.
Yeah, so that means you can have one of
these 3 options.
Yeah, not one medium, not one light.
And 1 heavy. You need to choose one of these 3 options. They come with a different boom for the buck and slightly different number of men with them, and slightly different rules for each one of them.
Yeah.
What you see here is the US medium mortar team with an additional spotter. Such as it functions, the spotter can operate separately from the rest of the team and can run around the table and find targets for them to shoot at.
So you can position the mortar team in cover behind some woods and just let the spotter be the target.
That is correct.
Because they will be shot at.
They will be shot at. Mortars, of course, you need a 6 to hit on the first go. But after that, you start zooming in. Next turn, if the target doesn't move, you will hit on a 5, and a 4, and so on. Yeah. This is something that we will go through when we do our little demo run.
Yeah, and if you're lucky and score a hit, you will hit the next turn, if the target doesn't move, on a 2+. So that's quite useful.
Because you know where they are. Moving on, next entry is the sniper team. Oops, he died. Sniper team. Sniper teams are 0 to 1. They are exactly what you think they are. They run around and eliminate targets. They are usually a 2-man operation. I think it's the Russians, Polish that
have single
man.
Yeah.
They come in as 1 option, but they are usually regular or veterans for most. But I think also there is inexperienced options for some of the nations.
I haven't seen that.
I think the Finnish. I'm not completely sure. Don't take my word for it, but
we
regular and veteran are the most commonly used.
Yeah.
Moving on from that one again.
Yeah, and the good thing about snipers is that they shoot at a range of 36 and they hit on a 2+.
Yes.
And they ignore
exceptional
cover.
at taking out stuff that really doesn't want to get hit.
They ignore cover, so guys hiding in the woods.
Like these guys. Oh, I picked the right one.
You did?
Yes, it's the flamethrower team.
It's the flamethrower team.
Which is also 0 to 1 option. Very nice for anything in this game. Flamethrowers are one of the most nasty things you will find in bolt action.
Definitely.
If they come within range of your Jagdtiger, your Sherman, your 10-man infantry squad, doesn't really matter, they will really lay some pain. They are also usually 2-man units. Quite costly, but so are the other 2-man units that we have with the sniper. They're basically there to scare your opponents, and if you are lucky enough to catch something with them, they will make up for their points.
Because they hit automatically and ignore cover. So that's quite good.
Yep. Anti-tank team. In this case, we are looking at a bazooka, which was something that the Americans used very often in World War II. Also, as the other one, other than small teams, a 2-man team with single rocket launchers. They have something called a shaped charge. You want to explain that one, Simon?
Yeah, shaped charge means that it's a bit harder to hit with them, so they have -1 to hit as standard, but they do not lose penetration if they shoot above half range. For example, a light anti-tank gun shooting more than 24 inches will have a +3 penetration instead of a +4 penetration, whereas the bazooka has a +5 penetration even if it shoots up to its maximum value. However, like I said, you get -1 to hit no matter how short the range is.
And as you also said, you mentioned anti-tank rifle.
Anti-tank rifles
Which are also an anti-tank team, something the US don't have, but other nations do. It's counted as anti-tank team, but you can have several different varieties of them.
Yeah,
in
and
this game.
especially something special
Especially something special.
are the Russian bomb dogs.
Dogs that go boom and blow up your tank.
Yeah,
They're funny.
they're cool.
Next. This is a 0 to 1 option, where you can have either field artillery, anti-aircraft, or anti-tank gun.
Which this is. This is, however, a 6-pounder British gun.
Since we didn't have an American one, so we...
Because you haven't painted it yet?
I'm working on it.
You're working on it. So this is, but there it's the same. It's a medium anti-tank gun with 3 guys.
And as with the other entries where you have different option, you can only have one of them. You can have one anti-tank gun and one anti-aircraft and one field artillery. You have to choose one of these 3.
Or if you want to have both,
then you have. If you want to have all of them, that's my phone.
that's your phone. I will pause.
Lesson to be learned: turn off your phone when you're filming in front of other people.
Are you filming in front of other people?
Okay, screw that.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay, you're gonna cut and edit, right?
I'm definitely gonna cut and edit.
And we're back after being rudely interrupted. We were saying that this is a 0 to 1 option, and that if you want to field more than one of these, or if you want to field one of the other 2 options, then you have to have a second and possibly a third reinforced platoon if you want to field all 3 of them. But then you're getting really scratched on points. You're playing a lower point game, and you probably won't be able to fit it in.
Usually a HQ unit and 2 infantry squads will cost you a minimum of 150 points if you go for the regular option.
Yes. Moving on beyond this one, we are now going into the vehicle versions. Here we're looking at a M8 Greyhound. You can have 0 to 1 armored cars per reinforced platoon. Armored cars are usually wheeled vehicles with low armor, but some of them, like the M8 Greyhound, can field guns that are capable of taking out most tanks if they get the right position. There are different varieties of the armored cars, but you can still only take one of them. That's it for that one.
Yeah, important to note that they have, well, most of them have the recce or recon rule.
Most of them have the recon rule. And
if you watch our
videos, listen to me when I talk. When I talk, and don't listen to my nonsense. Always recon. Don't count on luck, because it doesn't freaking work. Next tank. Yes, we're actually at a tank.
Yeah, or it could be a
Sherman.
Or it could be a
it could be a tank destroyer,
like a M18 Hellcat, which we have done a review of.
Anti-aircraft vehicle, or a self-propelled artillery, like one of my favorite US pieces, the M7 Priest.
Yes.
This, however, is a Sherman. They come in a very large variety, with different options, different experience levels, different armament, different armor. And there are so many different rules to so many of these variations. You can pick one of them per reinforced platoon. Basically, all you can do is try them out one by one with the rest of the stuff that you like. See if they fit into your army.
Maybe we should talk about one of the other special rules for the United States Army.
One of the special rules for the US Army, I think I know what you're thinking of, when it comes to their tanks, is if that you go with the veteran version, you have something called gyro stabilizers. This means that you can drive your tank, shoot, and not have a penalty for movement, which is a very, very powerful thing to have. Though it does come with the cost of having to buy the veteran tank.
Yeah, which is a lot more pricey than a regular one. But you know, if you normally would hit on a 5 because you have moved and long range, you are now down to a 4.
You can be down at a 3 because you could have moved inside short range.
You could have moved inside short range, of course.
Then you're down at 3 instead of 5.
Yeah.
So it could be the game turner. Lastly, we have the transport vehicle or tow entry in the US Army book, which is also a 0 to 1 option. One important thing to mention here is that it's a 0 to 1 option per infantry and artillery unit in the army. So if you have, say, 5 infantry squads like this, you can potentially have 5 different, or 5 of the same, transports in your army, basically making you a mechanized army, as it's commonly known. They are also either very low armored or soft skins, as it's called. They do have some armament, usually machine guns. In some cases you will find 50 cal, very rarely though. And they just function as bringing your troops or your artillery from point to point.
Yeah, and this can be, of course, a truck, it can be a jeep, it can be a car of any kind. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be this M3 white scout car.
Also, this is one of the cheapest ways to include, if you have leftover points and nothing to spend them on, to include an extra order die in your army. Many of the trucks and jeeps are cheap, very cheap, and they give you an order die. Of course, you need to hide them after you've dropped people off or dropped off your artillery, so they don't get shot to pieces because they die fairly easily.
Yeah, and also if you park one of these guys here, closer to an enemy unit than your own unit, it is counted as destroyed.
Yep, the enemy takes it over.
Yeah.
And that concludes the entries in the reinforced platoon and what the different units actually are. Of course, as we mentioned, some of these units have different names in other army books, like we have the bazooka for the US. Other nations might have the anti-tank rifle,
or a Panzerfaust or Panzerschreck for the Germans.
Piat
for the British.
Lastly, you need to know that every army has special rules.
Yeah.
We mentioned one of them for
2.
We mentioned 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the air superiority.
Yes.
We mentioned some of the U.S. Special rules. These are very important to get to know, due to the fact that they can change the outcome of a game. If you've seen our battle reports with the Russians, you will see that I effectively execute almost half my squad in one of those games in a desperate attempt to charge a tank. Not that it worked, but if it did, it might have changed the outcome. That's pretty much it.
So did you take fire and maneuver?
No, I didn't take all the special rules. I just told them that there are special rules in general. And yeah, one more thing, lastly but not least, there are rules to include... that doesn't work. Let me move this stuff and you can show people what you're playing around with. This is a Mustang. You can add planes. There are rules to use airplanes in bolt action.
And that, or those, you will find on the Warlord Games website. If you do a search for warplanes, bolt action warplanes, you will find free of charge rules for airplanes.
And that's it for our introduction of part 2, and we will be right back with example demo round of how you play, and we will be explaining everything in detail to you. So we'll be right back.
Okay, then we are back with part 3 of our how to play Bolt Action Introduction.
Yep.
This is Svein and
Damon.
David is holding the camera. So we are now going to present the forces we're going to use in this short video. It's not going to be a full battle report. It's going to be a
We're going to simulate your turn and we're going to simulate a game turn of what might happen in an actual game and explaining the rules in depth.
Yeah, so that we can show you what kind of units that are available and what some of them can do.
Some of the units.
Some of them, not all of them. That would take forever.
We would be here all night.
Yeah.
German.
So Germany, my forces. We are starting with a regular Kugelwagen, and this baby over here is
the Kugelwagen actually has a
pintle-mounted medium machine gun.
Yeah. Short for that is MMG.
Yeah. And my HQ unit is going to be inside. These have assault rifles, which have 2 shots and 24 inches of range. So it's as good as a rifle and shoots as good as a submachine gun. Then you have a 6-man regular squad of Heer, German Heer. They have 1 light machine gun, 1 loader and 4 rifles. Then you have the big squad of 10 veteran Heer. They also have 1 light machine gun and loader and 8 riflemen. And next up is a veteran sniper. Veteran sniper.
Veteran sniper.
And last but not least, the Puma, which is also veteran, and this is a must-have for the German army.
Oh yes, it's one of the best armored cars / tanks they have for the price it costs.
Yeah, and it's very good compared to the M18 Hellcat.
Yep.
Which is a similar kind of vehicle, only it's a tank destroyer.
And that was the German forces.
It was.
And introducing the American forces for this demo battle, we have a regular M4 Sherman, the staple tank of the US Army. Following that, we have a M3 half-track, regular with a pintle-mounted medium machine gun, which my HQ, which is also regular, will be mounted in.
Why is it pointing that way?
Germans are over there. This is a second lieutenant, and it was regular.
Yeah, the same was mine. Second lieutenant means they have a morale bonus of +1.
These guys both have rifles to benefit from the US special rules. Here we have a light howitzer, 3-man team, also regular.
Yeah, this is a proxy gun.
Yeah. We have a regular infantry squad. They have 5 rifles and 1 BAR, also known as a Browning.
Automatic rifle.
Automatic rifle. And lastly, we have a veteran squad of 10 Rangers, where we have 1 BAR and 1 submachine gun. They were veteran. Yeah. And this composes the US forces. For those who count points, the Germans are at 583 points and the Americans are at 582.
And the US special rule that you were mentioning?
The US special rules, we can go over them right now. American troops equipped with rifles does not suffer -1 penalty to move and shoot, which is a bonus, a big bonus if you are using the BAR, since it has 2 shots. Second US rule actually doesn't apply, since the Sherman isn't a veteran, but if it was, it would have gyro stabilizers, so it could move and shoot also without penalty.
Yeah. And a quick note, when you say no penalty for moving and shooting, all weapons with the assault special rule has the same rule. Yes. That means submachine guns, and in my case,
assault rifles.
The assault rifles on my HQ team, which I am zooming in on right now.
The German special rules, the machine guns.
Yes.
Hitler's buzzsaw. Usually it's 3 shots. But due to the German special rule called Hitler's buzzsaw, each light machine gun gets 4 shots.
Yeah, and medium machine guns get 5.
Yep.
Normally 4. This does not apply on vehicle or...
Only man-packed.
Yeah, man-packed.
Yes. Additional German rules.
It's called...
Point the camera at the
table? I already shown the table.
They want to see the pretty table.
It's initiative training, which means that if I lose my NCO in a squad, I can roll a d6, and on a 4+, one of the other guys takes command of that squad. This is useful to avoid the -1 permanent morale reduction you get if you lose your squad leader.
Yep.
So,
that's it for introduction. We'll be back with a slightly staged round something.
Thingy.
Yeah.
So don't expect the usual battle report.
No. Okay. So we are ready to start turn 3 of our simulated game. What you will see is what might happen during a game with the forces that you saw in the introduction. If Svein will show the table, you will see that some units have moved up, some units have received pin markers from being hit, some more than others. We have been shooting with our mortar at this unit twice.
Or that is the howitzer shooting.
The howitzer shooting as a mortar.
That means indirectly.
Indirectly, but missing. But they haven't moved. So this turn we will hit them on a 4 instead of 6.
This unit haven't moved, so then he will hit me on a 4. It's reduced starting on 6 and then reduced by 1 for each turn until you get down to 2+.
Dice bag,
Yep.
always nice to have, especially when you're playing bolt action.
Yeah, and you have seen the order dice previously in the introduction, so let's see what comes out.
US order die.
It's a US order die.
And I am going to try to activate my regular infantry squad and have them open fire on Svein's hare squad.
These guys over here.
Over here.
That's funny. My hare squad over here. Let's see if I can get a cool shot. Well, you roll.
Yep, and that's a no.
Is it no?
That's a no. That is a 10 for me, over here.
Okay. I'm just doing some
You're
cool shots.
just doing cool motion picture
Okay,
shots.
so what happened? Tell the people. These are regular?
These are regulars, so they have a leadership value of 9 to begin with. Since they have 2 pin markers, that means that they have been hit twice by 2 separate units in a round, or twice during the game so far.
Mm-hmm.
They need to take a moral test if they have 1 or more pin markers. On a roll of 10, they would have failed anyway.
Mm-hmm. Because they are
at morale 9.
Yes.
At the current situation, they would have made the test on a 7 or less.
Yeah.
Because each pin on your unit reduces their morale by that many.
Yeah.
So they fail their order test, so they cannot fire. Instead, they will go down as their order.
What does that mean?
The down order makes them a little bit more difficult to hit. They cover behind doors and windows and walls.
They hunker down even more.
Yep. So shooting at them is even harder. It reduces, to hit by an additional 1.
Yeah. So in this case, if I'm going to shoot at these guys, I would, or you would get -1 because they are down, and then another -2 because they are in hard cover, as buildings are counted as.
Yes.
And also when you are in buildings, you need 6s to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So buildings are nice to occupy.
Buildings are good for you.
Yeah. One other thing, you have your HQ unit here.
That I do.
He was outside of 6 inches, as you can see.
Outside of 6, if he was within 6, he could have given them some more morale support.
Yep.
Though in this case he would only have been able to give them 1, since he's a second lieutenant. That still wouldn't have been enough.
No. And the point, or how this works, is that he gives them 1 extra morale value. So that means they would have gone from 9 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then you reduce by 2, and then they would have needed an 8.
But a 10 is a fail regardless.
Regardless. Okay, so
And
that
that's
was
it
your...
for my die. Let's try a new one.
Okay, next die out of the bag is a German, which I am controlling. So I will now choose one of my 6 units, and I think I have a juicy target over here, the big Sherman, not Damon.
Hey!
He will now be issued a fire order. A fire order means that I'm standing still and shooting, and this gives me the best option of hitting normally. I hope I am within the short range of my weapon, which is 30 inches. Sadly, I am at 31 inches. So,
Which applies -1 to hit
hit.
modifier.
So my normal 3 is now a 4 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
If I had moved, I could have gotten within the short
Short
range,
range, but you
but
would
then
have.
I would get the minus for moving, so it's the same. Now I can just wait for Damon to come to me after.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's see if we can do some hitting.
damage. 5.
That's a hit.
That's a hit. Medium anti-tank gun. That's plus 5 penetration.
Yeah.
The Sherman has an armor value of 9,
Yep.
being a medium
Tank.
medium tank. This gives him a dice roll plus the 5 penetration.
Yep.
To try to to penetrate. He needs a 4 to make a glance.
Actually, that is a 5 because
of long range.
yes, when I shoot at long range, which I just did, I lose 1 penetration. So my plus 5 is reduced to a plus 4, which means I need to score a 5 to glance him and a 6 to penetrate him.
Yep. So roll.
We are rolling.
Yep.
And that's a 1.
That was a 1.
So if you add 1 and 4, you get 5.
Yep. So obviously no penetration, but you did manage to hit.
Yep.
And you don't need to kill anything in bolt action to apply a pin marker.
That is correct.
You only have to hit the target. So a pin marker is applied. And the pin marker is, well, it's important for both moral tests, because when it's my turn to act, he does need to take a test like the infantry team did. If he passes the test, it's removed.
Yeah.
If he had 2 pin markers, 1 would be removed, and he would be left with another pin marker,
Yeah.
which would affect the shooting.
Yeah.
It would have given him an additional -1 modifier.
Yeah, so if he then moved, he would have a minus of 2 to his shooting.
Yep.
So pinning is very important in this game. Concentrate your fire and try to pin squads or units so that they cannot do anything.
Or kill them.
Or kill them, like Damon does.
Next American die for me. The Sherman will retaliate and try to kill the Puma. He will be given an advance order. He's going to drive, and he's going to shoot.
Mhm.
But since he has a pin, I need to make a moral check, which I will manage on a 8 or less, since he is a regular with a leadership of 9. -1 is 8. And that was a 6.
Okay, so you scored a 6.
I scored a 6, so the pin is removed. I will then advance, because my Sherman can take a little bit more punishment than his Puma. And I know that he was just outside of short range, and I want to advance. Tracked vehicles can advance 9 inches on a regular basis. So I will move 9 inches.
But you could have moved 18 since you're on a road.
Moving double, but I don't want to get too close because the Puma is very fast and can get around my flank in a very short time.
Yeah, this is a wheel vehicle, so he can move 12 on a regular basis and 24 on a run. If you're on a road, that is 24 and 48.
So I was within half range. I was at 22. I have the same medium anti-tank gun as the Puma has.
Yeah.
but the Puma has an armor value of 7.
8.
8.
Yes, it's a light tank actually in terms of armor value, so it's quite good.
So we are looking at a basic 3 because of being a regular,
Yeah.
and a 4 for moving.
Yep.
Even though I'm within half range, I get a penalty for moving.
Yep.
I need a 4 to hit.
Okay.
And that is a 4. The Puma has a special rule
The Puma has a special rule,
called recon, or
recce, which British say.
and recon is what the Americans say.
Yeah.
And me. Recon is a rule that lets you run off, run away, reverse, hide. You move backwards and try to hide from the tank or the unit shooting at you. This is something that you have to declare to do when you are being shot at.
Mm-hmm.
So Sven, you're being shot at. Do you want to recon?
I definitely want to recon.
Yep.
This Puma is a recon vehicle, like Damon said. That gives him the ability to make a reverse advance, which means he has 2 pivots and 12 inches of movement.
I'm guessing you want to go out here?
I would definitely want to go out there,
Okay.
so that I can...
We can see that that will be no problem.
Yep.
So we 2 inches back, we turn, we drive 3 inches back, and we turn.
Yep.
And then the Puma is safe.
Yep.
And after a recon move, the unit goes down.
Yeah. So here is the important thing. If you can, try to shoot at recon vehicles before they shoot at you, because then he has to waste his order die.
Yep.
In this case, I got to shoot first, so then I could both shoot and recon.
Yes. And that concludes my turn.
Yeah, let's take a nice shot over here.
Scenic shot.
That means you have to move.
Okay.
My HQ in front, and over here, the Sherman firing off his gun.
American die.
Mm-hmm.
And we've decided to make this a little bit less quirky for us, so we're not going to roll any dice. We're just going to tell you this is the number we need to hit and what actually happens and what wouldn't happen, just to make it easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my howitzer. He's going to fire as a mortar. The reason why I have to do this...
Well, it's firing as a howitzer, but indirectly.
It's firing as a howitzer, but indirectly, but mortars would use the same rule.
Because mortar can
Yes.
only shoot indirectly.
Yes.
So this is just to give you a clue of what a mortar and a howitzer can do, that are similar.
It doesn't have direct line of sight to anything.
No.
If I had deployed it a little bit better, I might have had line of sight to the sniper hiding down here behind the fence, but alas, a 45 degree puts them out of my line of sight.
Yeah.
But I have this young man who is spotting some Germans.
Let's see if we can zoom in on some Germans over here. There they are.
I've been shooting at them for 2 rounds, putting me at a 4.
Yep.
We're going to assume that the Americans make the dice roll of a 4 plus,
Yep.
and hit the German unit. This would give a light howitzer, as this is, or a light mortar, D3 hits.
Light mortar D3 and a light howitzer D6.
D6 for a light howitzer.
Yeah.
And a medium mortar would be
D6.
D6, and a heavy mortar
would be 2D6. They are one step lower than the gun version.
Yeah.
So a light howitzer is 1D6, a light mortar is 1D3, a medium mortar is D6, medium howitzer 2D6, and so on.
Let's see a D3 roll to see how many hits, the D6 roll to see how many hits the
score.
German unit take. They take a whopping 2 hits.
Yep, 2 hits on my 6-man squad, so that's good for me. That means he cannot wipe them out.
Nope.
However,
these guys are regulars, so they will die on a normally on a
4 plus.
4 plus. But since this is a howitzer,
He has +2 penetration with since he's a light howitzer.
So I need to roll anything but a 1 to kill 2 guys.
Yeah.
That can happen. Usually not to me, but it does happen. So it's a double 1, which means no Germans die.
No Germans
but
die.
But they do take a pin, since they were hit.
They do actually take D2 pins.
Is that additional?
No, that is what they take. D2 pins.
D2 pins? Hey, so something else than 1. So they take pins. 2 pin markers.
And that is because since it's a larger shell than a rifle bullet, it creates more suppression to the unit.
More terror.
You are the terror.
I am the terror. We'll be back.
So next up we have the sniper team, which has a good position behind the fence and the hedge, but you can see this guy over here, and that means it's a viable target because snipers ignore cover. As long as you can see the enemy, you can shoot at them. He ignores cover, so the only penalty for him shooting is the long range, because a sniper has a range of 36 inches. This is 30. That means half range is 18, and I'm above that. That means I go from the normal 3 to a 4 because of long range, but then snipers have a special rule that gives them +1 to hit, which means we go down to a 3+ again. So I need a 3+.
And we're going to assume that the sniper hits his target, which will apply a pin.
It will apply a pin,
but
this gun has a gun shield. Snipers do not ignore gun shield rule. They do not ignore small team rule. So if it was a 2-man team, I would have to hit them on a 4+, because when you are only 2 guys in a team, it's an additional -1 to hit. But in this case it's 3 men, so they are not counted as a small team, so I hit them on a 3. But the gun shield rule says that you need a 6 to kill.
So let's see a dice roll of 6.
So
since I rolled the 1s.
Let's do some voodoo magic and see a 6. Or we're cursed.
I think the voodoo has left the building.
Cursed. That was a fire order for my sniper team, and putting 1 pin on the light howitzer team.
Which is, by the way, now at a 2.
Yeah, that's important.
For hitting the infantry squad unless it moves.
Yes.
Since it's already hit them once, it knows where to shoot, so you hit on a 2+.
He's so-called ranged in.
Yes.
So you go from 6 and down 1 for each turn until you hit, then you're automatically going down to a 2+ to hit.
Yep.
Okay, Americans next.
Yes. My M3 will advance. It will drive 12 inches.
Okay, that is 9. It's half track, so it has 9.
Oh, it's a half track. I saw wheels.
Wheels in the front. So 9 inches of move, that is an advance. That means he can also shoot his medium machine gun.
Which I will at the sniper team.
Yeah, because you see them as a big threat.
Yes.
Important thing about vehicle-mounted guns on transports. You need to have a team on board to shoot with them. So in this case
my HQ
you have your HQ unit, and also if the HQ unit wants to leave, he can, even though he has quote-unquote shot with them.
Yep.
But that is actually the vehicle's order, and he cannot disembark from the vehicle if it has made a run move. So on advance lets him shoot, and then he can disembark his HQ after and shoot even more.
Medium machine gun.
4 shots.
4 shots.
36
with a range of
inches.
36, which leaves us at short range.
Yep, you are at 12.
I was
Something.
at 14.
14.
So that's within half range.
Yeah.
This is a regular unit, so it has a basis of 3.
Yep.
It has moved, brings us up to 4. I'm shooting at a small team.
As we discussed.
Yes, small team, 2 or less. That's an additional -1, so we're at 5.
Yeah, and no penalty for range since you are within the short range of the medium machine gun.
So I need 5s to hit.
And these are 4 shots on the medium machine gun that scores 1 hit.
That's a 6, so we apply a pin. I get to roll the 6 to see if I kill.
Yep, and these.
These are veterans, so
Yes.
they die on a 5.
Die on a 5. And they don't.
They don't.
So they get a pin, and that can be enough to allow them to, well, not complete their order next turn.
Yep. And that's it for me.
Okay, Germany is up, and we will now demonstrate a assault on a vehicle, and more importantly, a transport vehicle. So, this unit has been hit by a light mortar, and next turn it will hit me on a 2+ and give me d6 hits. That's not good. So these guys have 2 pins. They are irregulars, so they need a 7 or less on their morale roll. Let's say we make that. The pin is reduced to 1. Then I issue the run order, which means I'm going to charge into contact with this vehicle. That automatically removes any pins when you are charging.
Regardless of how many are remaining, as long as you made the order test to actually do the order.
Yes, and they have to be within 12 inches. They are.
If my M3 half-track had not fired its gun,
No order die.
then I would have been able to do a defensive fire.
Yeah, reaction fire.
I would have been able to shoot my 4 shots at them,
Yep.
and perhaps pinning them in place.
Correct.
But since I didn't use
Well,
the
not
order,
pinning them, you could have killed
I could have
a couple of guys.
killed a couple of guys.
Yeah, the pins. This
The pins would have been removed regardless since it's charging.
Yeah, as long as I make contact with the vehicle, the pin is removed. So this is the situation. I've made the order test. I've declared a run. I'm moving him into contact. He has not cannot make a reaction fire since he already did an order. As long as I make base contact, the pin is gone. But here comes the important part.
My HQ will jump out and fight.
Yeah, this is a transport vehicle with a unit on board. That means I will not actually be assaulting the unit itself, or the transport itself. These guys will jump out to defend it. They have rifles.
Yes.
So no extra, if they have, for example, submachine gun in there, they would
Benefit
give
from extra attacks.
2 shots. Also pistols actually have 2 shots. So what happens now is that I, as the attacker, fight first. I have 6 guys, so I will take 6 dice, and they are regular. So I'm killing them on 4s.
Yes.
And that is 3.
That is 1 dead HQ unit.
Yeah, so they die.
Yep.
Both of them.
And that also removes an order die from the dice bag, since the HQ unit has not activated yet.
Yes. The odds of me winning that combat is quite large, since he only had 2 guys left. If, however, I killed only 1 guy,
And I would have been able to fight back with 1 guy and kill 1 guy.
if you kill 1 guy, then actually this combat, however likely it seems, would be a draw.
Yep.
And then we would immediately fight another round. Then, of course, he would die, but the second time you fight simultaneously, which means that even though I killed him, he will get to reply.
Yep.
So maybe I lost another guy. Like that. The important thing now is that I do not attack the transport itself. The transport is now empty, and the rules also say that transport vehicles that end their turn closer to an enemy unit than a friendly unit is counted as destroyed.
Which removes its order die from the game.
Yeah, so as long as I stay here, he cannot do anything, he has already done it. So Damon's only chance of keeping this transport alive is to kill these guys.
Or to get one of my own units into the tank,
Closer.
or into the half-track, which is unlikely, since none of my units are close enough at all, and the one that perhaps might have been is already used.
Yep.
So, it's an American die, and these guys are Rangers. They have a specific special rule that lets them make a run move before the game starts.
Rangers lead the way.
Which they did. They ran 12, advanced 6, and have been pouring shots into the Germans, but failing to kill anyone.
But they have put 2 pins on
They
there.
have. The reason why they're well, so difficult to kill is because not many shots have been hitting, since all of these guys, except the BAR, is at long range, and these guys are also standing in soft cover, since the majority of the unit is inside the forest.
Yeah, 10 men, and 4 of them are outside, and 6 are inside the base. That means the majority is in light cover.
So my unit will be advancing to get within short range and being able to pour more shots into the Germans. We'll place the BAR at the back.
And while you move them, I pause and change the battery.
Yep. So new lease of life for the camera with new battery.
Yep.
My unit has finished moving. So let's do the math on what they need to hit.
What do you have?
I have 1 submachine gun, which has a range of 12. Currently it's within 12, but outside of 6. So it will have a -1 penalty to hit because of long range.
Yeah, no penalty for moving.
No, so that's 2 shots. Because it's an assault weapon, no penalties for moving.
Yeah.
We have 1 BAR rifle, which is within short range. Its short range is 15 inches.
Yeah, maximum of 30.
Yep. And 8 rifles that are within 12, but also outside of 6. Also without penalty for moving and shooting.
Yeah, because you have the special rule
that the US Army has.
Yeah.
And every army has special rules. Always good to get them into your head, because often you will forget or misread.
Yes.
Like we did when we started doing this, and all my American tanks, regardless of experience level, had gyro stabilizers for some reason.
For some reason.
Yes. So, the submachine gun, let's start with that. It has a base of 3. It is long range, 4. You are in soft cover, 5.
Yes.
So I need 5s to hit on these 2 die.
Normally that would, well, if it was a rifle, it would have been 6 because of the movement.
Yes.
But not on the US. Oh, what do you know?
It's the voodoo magic.
Voodoo is back.
So 2 hits. And then 10 die with the rest.
Yeah, so these are rifles and BAR, and they hit on the same value.
They have 3 basic. They have 4 for forest.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
And here we score a heap of hits.
There we go.
And here comes the interesting part. My unit is veteran. That means they are killed on 5s. But now I am up to 3 pins.
Getting pinned down. 5s to kill.
5s to kill. And that is 3 kills and a 6.
The 6. It's a good thing you got the 6.
You got the 6.
I can re-roll the 6. If this comes up as an additional 6, I can choose which weapon dies, or which model dies.
Yeah.
I can pick the NCO, I can pick the light machine gun, or if there were any other special weapons, I could have taken them.
That is correct.
So let's see what happens. It's a 2.
Yeah.
So
no
nothing special there.
No candy for you.
No. 3 dead Germans though.
Yep.
And that's it.
So we'll remove them and we're back. Okay, so those were the American order dice.
All spent.
Yeah, remember he lost one because I killed his HQ when I assaulted his transport vehicle. They were forced to jump out and defend. He could not choose to remain inside. Now I have 3 units left, and this veteran unit that was shot, and I lost 3 guys. Then I have my HQ inside a Kugelwagen. So now I'm going to do a classic strategic action, bolt action. So the first thing I will do is use my...
Just gonna soften up the Rangers.
I will soften up Rangers with my Kugelwagen, which, if you remember, had a medium machine gun. And as we also discussed, you need to have a crew on board to use it. So he will now just... Okay, I got plenty of range.
Plenty of movement.
Plenty of movement, 12 inches. So he will perform 1 pivot over here. And then another pivot over here. This is pimple mounted, so I can...
Turn and wiggle and...
Whichever way I want.
Yep.
So he ends up here. You have to remain 1 inch away from your own unit. And also the enemy, of course. Interesting thing, am I now within 6 inches?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, so the pintle mounted machine gun is in the front here. and that actually negates my movement. So my base would have been 3 and then 4 because of movement, but as we also mentioned,
Back down to 3 because within
6 inches.
super short range, as we say in
So
our
medium
videos.
machine gun, vehicle mounted, does not benefit from Hitler's Buzzsaw. That means I have 4 shots.
Yes.
And these guys are in the open, no cover, no nothing.
Nope. So 3s to hit.
3s to hit. Oh,
Yeah,
what do you
see,
know?
That's 4 hits.
And killing
Applying
on
a pin.
5s.
Killing on 5, since these are also veterans.
Correct. And that is no kills.
No kills.
So that was bad softening up.
Yep.
But, like I said, I have 3 units left, since Damon has no more dice, so we just continue.
Yep.
Then, the second clever part is that my HQ disembarks. And they will just position themselves
On the other side of the hedge.
like this, for example, and leaving a nice gap here for my guys after, which I will show you. They have assault rifles,
Yes.
which means they shoot 2 shots
Mhm.
and no modifier for movement.
Because you just deployed, which actually isn't movement.
Well, it's
That you disembarked.
yeah, but it is an advance order. That means you will get the modifier for movement, but
Again negated because of short range.
and assault rifle.
And assault rifle, because the assault rifle does not give a penalty for moving, just like the American special rules.
Yes. So what does that tell us?
They hit on a 3 regular,
Yep.
super short range 2.
Yep.
So 4 shots. Did I have 4 shots? 2 shots.
And the clue here is normal is 3, then I have advance, which would give it 4,
But because of assault rifles,
back to
it's
3,
back to 3,
and then super short range
down to 2.
In any circumstance, you cannot hit on a 1. A
No.
1 is always a miss.
Yep.
Okay, so this is assault rifles, like I said, they shoot 2 shots each, so I have 4 shots.
Yep.
And it's the same, killing on 2s.
Hitting on 2.
Hitting on 2s.
So all 4 shots hits, and killing on 5s.
And there we go with 1.
1 6.
If
This
I
can be
roll on the
rerolled.
6.
Oh, and he gets to kill the NCO.
No, I want to take out the submachine gun.
You want to take out the submachine
Why
gun,
do I
which
want to take out the submachine gun?
because the submachine gun gives 2 extra attacks in close combat.
The submachine gun gets 2 attacks in close combat, that's correct. So what happened now? You're left with 9 guys,
Yep, and I take a pen,
and you take a pin.
and I lost my submachine gun.
Lost your submachine gun. So,
Now for the last fancy part.
the last die, I have 3 pins. They are veteran, which gives them a morale value of 7 with the 3 pins. But then I have my HQ within 6 inches, giving them a morale value of 8.
Yep.
So
we're going-
we will assume I make it, but let's just roll just for
You just want to
funsies.
roll for fun.
That's a
Ooh.
7, so we make it. That means, like we discussed with the assaulting the transport, I remove 1 pin.
Yep, so down to 2.
Yep. Then I give the run order.
Yep,
They have done something, so they cannot return fire.
correct.
And then I move them into base contact. It's enough, and this is important. The charge range is 12 inches.
You only need 1 model to make base contacts.
Yeah. In this case, this is important, and you need to specify it before you start playing. Trees or tree areas can be rough ground or it can be normal ground. In this case, we have deemed them normal grounds. That means I can run 12 inches. If it was rough ground, I could only have charged 6 inches.
Yep.
The same as an advance move. But in this case, I can run 12 inches, and it's enough that only 1 guy is within 12. If the rest were on the line behind here, and the furthest was 15, 16 inches away, doesn't matter. As long as 1 guy gets in, the rest gets in. And what's cool about this part now, he does outnumber me, since he has 9 and I have 7 guys. But since we are not fighting over an obstacle, as it's called, let's say he was behind the fence and I was here, then we would roll simultaneously.
Yep.
So if I die, I would still get to fight back, and if he dies, he would get to fight back. In this case, the guys I kill, they are gone.
Yep, he gets to hit first since he's the one doing the charging.
Yeah, my pins are removed, the same as his. That is important for whoever is left remaining. Oh, actually, that reminds me of something. We forgot to do a consolidation move over here. after an assault, you can do a 1d6 consolidation move. In this case, I rolled a 2. You need to be 1 inch away minimum.
Yep.
So in this case, I could have moved 2. I only choose to move 1 because I want to be sure that I am the closest unit to that guy, so that he is destroyed at the end of the turn.
Yep.
Okay, so here is the close combat. I have no assault weapons or something giving me extra attacks, so I roll 7 dice.
7 dice, and in close combat, there is no rolling to hit, you only roll to kill.
That is correct.
In this case, we have veterans fighting veterans, so we both need 5s to kill the other guy.
Yeah, so let's see if we can kill some rangers. And we kill 3 rangers.
3 rangers are
One
gone.
of them is a 6. Now it would be interesting to take out the NCO. But I don't.
So he kills 3,
Yep.
leaving me with
6 guys left.
6 guys. Give me a die.
Like that. And then you kill on 5s.
1.
That's 1, and it's a 6. You can re-roll that. No.
Nope.
So he lost 3 guys. And I lost 1. And this is important, because even though he is remaining with 6 guys and I am remaining with 6 guys, I killed more of his guys than he killed of mine. That means he loses combat.
Yep.
If he were Japanese, however, which we are playing now in our Pacific campaign, he would not have been destroyed, since the Japanese have a special rule called fanatics.
They would stay and fight until death.
They would stay and we would immediately fight another round. In this case, however, they are not fanatics, so they are removed as a casualty, sadly, for Damon. This is probably the only time I will win against Damon when we are rigging games.
It needs you need a rigged game and halfway rigged dice.
That's sad, but that's how it is. 1d6 consolidation move, and that's a 6.
Yep.
Which means I would probably want to move
Into cover from everything else.
into cover, so that means advancing over here.
Yeah.
And getting in a nice position to take these guys from the side.
And that concludes the German action for the demo round. And we'll be right back with a summary.
Yes. Okay, so that was the end of turn 3, and this is what turn 4 would look like.
No losses for the German side. 3 order die removed for the Americans.
Yeah.
1 for the HQ units. Number 2 for the half track that gets destroyed at the end of turn 3 because he's closer to it than I am.
Yes.
And for the Rangers unit that was destroyed in close combat. What you would do at the start of turn 4 is gather all the order die left.
Like we have done here.
Put them in the order die bag and then pull die until you have spent them all and you rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Usually you either play with objectives or a certain number of rounds and just see who kills the most, or you play with a scenario.
Yeah.
Either way you keep going until a victory condition is fulfilled.
Normal game length is 6 turns and then a possible turn number 7.
We hope that you found this a little bit educational. We do apologize for any possible mistakes. We're not perfect, which we've proven a lot of times.
Even though we've been doing this for 9 months, 10 months.
We're
Yeah.
getting better at it.
We're getting better.
We hope this video has shown you at least something of what could possibly happen in one round of bolt action. And if you're new to the game, please watch our battle reports starting from Poland in 1939
Yeah.
up to the point where we are at now, which is the Pacific.
1941.
1941, at the end of 1941.
Yep.
Send us your questions if there's anything you want to know. We'll answer it, or join our group on Facebook. Just search for Tabletop Battle.
Mm-hmm. We will make that public so that anyone can find it.
Yes. And visit our website, tabletopbattle.com.
There you will find the in the headings you will find bolt action, and then you can just drill down and see all the years and all the scenarios that are already filmed and out there, and also some viewer content. A couple of our viewers has made some videos that we have gracefully put on our page, and also there are some reviews there, and just take a look and enjoy the hobby, which is bolt action.
And this has been Damon.
And Sven, which is me, not him.
From Tabletop Battle signing off.
Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos.